Okay, I'm back. Welcome back. I've got my mirepoix done. Going to be sufficient. Carrots, onions, celery for the soup. And I'm going to slide it into my saute pan. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But one thing I wanted to show you is you'll see I have a paper towel, wet one underneath here. You can use a regular kitchen towel or paper. But your cutting boards, unless you're working with a huge piece of, much bigger than this block, chopping block, or wooden cutting board, you need to have something that's stable, that won't move. So when you put it on top of a damp or wet cloth, it holds, it doesn't move. That's a tip. All right, so I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna put them over here in this beautiful pan. My daughter just bought these. They're heavy, heavy, heavy. I'm not sure if they're cast iron or what they are, but they are enamel. They have enamel on them, and I'm gonna put some oil in it. And the reason I'm sauteing them here instead of the pot the soup's going to be made in is just basically, who has, you know, all the, in a restaurant you've got more pots than you need, they're all hanging. I could have another pot here to do the vegetables and pour the stock in. I don't have that flexibility here, so I'm going to put the vegetables in here and then put them in the stock rather than put the stock in the vegetables. So here. I used avocado oil because that's the kind of oil we have here today. I'm going to need to put some garlic in there, chopped garlic, and I'm cheating here. I asked my daughter, she said she had peas. I always put peas in this. This is going to be vegetable soup with a few turns on it. It's vegetable, but I'm going to change it. So I said, you have peas? She goes, yeah, I'll go get them. So she went to get the peas. She comes up, I got peas and carrots. No problem. Less than me, I have to chop. I used to, when I was working in a restaurant, I would buy diced carrots. Reason being, these are annoying to cut. They're just problematic to cut. And it doesn't matter using frozen ones. The celery and the onions are aromatic. You want them to saute from raw and give you aroma and taste. Carrots, sauteing carrots, boiled carrots, doesn't much matter. Boiled onions smell bad. Sauteed onions smell really good. Boiled celery, sauteed celery, it has a different aroma. So I'm cheating a little bit. When I put the peas in, I'm going to put these carrots in. I don't know if she has any green beans. If she has any green beans. I also use these things that I found probably 20, 30 years ago. They started making diced tomatoes. Saves you the trouble, right? In a restaurant, you might not use these in this kind of soup because you've always got the tomato ends. If you're cutting a flat of 60, a box of 60 tomatoes sliced for sandwiches, you've got all those ends. You've got the end and you've got the top piece, the stem part. Well, you know what? You dice them up. But we don't have a whole bunch of tomatoes here, so I'll get these. And rather than use whole ones, they come well diced. It's a wonderful thing, a wonderful product. Things are a lot easier than they used to be. So I'm going to let this saute. And I'm going to get some garlic out of here. Okay, put the tomatoes to the side here, carrots to the side. I got these garlic cloves. I'm going to squash them to help get the oils out. And then I'm going to chop them, throw them in. And now the garlic, I always put it at the end because garlic will burn faster than onions or carrots or celery. So you want to get them where it's just about done. And then whatever you're doing onions and garlic together. You put the garlic in after. The onions are about halfway cooked. All right? Chopping garlic is nothing. You can if you want to. You can do this. Squish it down a little more. Flatten it out. Gets more of those oils out. Makes it finely more finely chopped. And then we just come around, and there we go. We're going to throw them in. So the garlic's in. We got everything we need in here. You got to learn how to flip things too. We'll have a lesson in that. We used to have a competition in how many eggs you could flip without cracking one. And I remember we'd do things too, like we'd have 4 eggs in a pan and we'd do 2 sunny side up and 2 over easy in the same pan at the same time. You can do a lot of fun things like that once you know what you're doing. Okay, I gotta pour my stock in, put my tomatoes in. I said put the stock in, I meant put the veggies in the stock. There you go. That's better. I'm going to turn that up on high then. And I'm going to put those tomatoes in. I'm not going to put the chicken in yet, because that chicken is past tender. And you don't want to have it just shredded in there. It wouldn't be very good. And I'm putting, you wouldn't always put tomato in vegetable soup. Vegetarian vegetable soups, definitely. You wouldn't necessarily put it like in chicken soup, but my wife wanted this to have tortellini or something in it. So I said, it's gonna have tortellini, we're gonna give it a little bit of a Mexican flair. So we're gonna put basil in it. In addition to thyme and bay leaf, we'll put some basil in it. Fresh basil, do we have any fresh basil? No. Usually has a plant, no basil plant here. So we use a dried basil. I prefer the fresh. Totally different taste, but that's fine. Might put some potatoes in it. But then again, that's carbs, I'll stay away from that. So we're just gonna put those tomatoes in. And I know the stock tasted good, but I'm not gonna taste it again until it's all boiled up and the flavors are all incorporated. And be careful with salt. Salt is the last thing you put in. And you can't take it out. You can't add less, but you can add more. So less is better. And especially if you're going to have it the next day, it tends to get saltier as it cooks down. If you've never gone into a restaurant, I used to make onion soup 2-3 times a week. Always had onion soup on the menu. And what happens with onion soup is, since it's always there day after day, and it cooks down in the steam table, you'll go to a restaurant and order onion soup and you'll see it'll be dark. The onions will be really, really almost invisible. They're just mushed up, and it'll probably be salty. Because if they don't know what they're doing, that's the difference between a chef and a cook. They don't know what they're doing. They say, I got onion soup from yesterday, I'll put it right in there. Which is fine. It may be good, it may not. But hopefully you ran it out and used fresh the next day. But when they sit that long and cook down, oh man, it gets so salty. Because even when you made it, you said it's not salty, but if it cooks down, well, you'd be surprised. By a third down, and that salt comes out, it gets you. So be careful. Salt lightly. And a lot of times I'll make things, and everyone will say, well, it needs salt. I say, yes. I said, all my life I cooked for the masses. The chefs today want to have everything exactly perfect. They wouldn't have salt and pepper on the table. Baloney. Baloney. You salt and pepper it the way you want. I had a real good friend. He said, I'm always deficient in my salt, so I have to eat a lot of salt. He said, I salt Chinese food and ham. Which I said, that's whoever heard of people, he put soy sauce on, then salt. I said, okay. All right, we're gonna let this keep going. But that's about it. The only things I need to add to this is chopped parsley or something to make it look good. These peas and carrots, I would put the peas in always last because they're already cooked. And it doesn't matter even if they're not cooked, they cook so fast. So I'm gonna put them in there, and when it comes to boil, check the seasoning, see what other spices I wanna put in. And then as far as your garnish in any soup, it depends if it's noodles, rice, tortellini, whatever you're gonna put in. You should cook it on the side and put it in at service time. Because noodles are just going to get mushy, rice is going to get to where it just breaks up and gets cloudy. Doesn't matter to me. I mean, if I'm doing it for myself, I'll put it right in. The next day, the tortellinis are the size of a pancake, but I don't care. It's for me. It's good. It's food. Real food. Real food. We're talking about real food here, and I want you to understand how to do it. What you need to saute, when, how long, terms. Mirepoix. This is mise en place. Another French term. Two most famous French terms are mise en place, which means mess in place. The French name is everything in place. Mise, M-I-S-E, E-N-P-L-A-C-E. Mise en place. That's pounded into you in cooking school. Mise en place, mise en place. Have everything you need. You don't ever want to walk over and have to get something. You go over and you get, these are the spices I need. These are the vegetables I need. Everything is here. You don't want to have to make trips. That's like doing the onions ahead of time. You don't want to say, okay, I got to peel 2 onions. Oh, shucks, I got to go over and get 1 more. I think it needs 3 onions. I got all I need right here. This gets low, I peel some more. But that's if you're going to cook a lot. I don't blame you. Just peel what you need. That's fine. So mirepoix is carrots, onions, and celery. That's the base of everything in continental cooking. I'm not going to talk about Asian. I don't know anything about it. I like to eat some of it. Europe, continental, you know, Mirepoix is France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria. I work with chefs from every one of those countries, and they all know those terms, whether they're on a cruise ship, in a kitchen here, in a kitchen there. You tell them Mirepoix and mise en place, they know what you're talking about. So that's basically all I got to talk about today. We're going to have dinner, soup for dinner. It's cold out here in Bothell, Washington. It's 80 in Florida where I live, but right now it's cold. So for today, that's it from Chef Ken and Culinary Jazz. We'll see you next time. Thank you.